No. But let's chat a little bit more about this with Mr. G Chandrashekhar, economist and commodity market expert, joining in on the show right now. Mr. Chandrashekhar, firstly, for our viewers, help us understand why this sudden spike in prices, across the board, from cumin to turmeric to, of course, vegetables and fruits. Everything is seeing a spike.
Yes, there are multiple reasons, of course. The first is the risk and the threat of El Nino. We had a delayed onset of the monsoon, and the progress has not really been satisfactory. Even as of today, or as of yesterday, I must say, the country is facing a 16% deficit in monsoon. The whole of South India is in deficit except some parts of Tamil Nadu, and plus Bihar, plus Odisha, and several other parts of central India. They're all in acute deficit. Whereas Gujarat, Rajasthan, of course, have enjoyed reasonably good rainfall thanks to that, what was that, Biparjoy, okay, which for people turned out to be vapor sorrow, but for farmers it was good because it created enough subsoil moisture. So one, the monsoons aberrations in the progress, because what is important for the southwest monsoon is not the total quantum of rainfall, but a temporal and spatial distribution of rains over 4 months. And that is the start and the progress so far, in my view, has been less than satisfactory. This is number one. Number two, look at turmeric, for example. Turmeric is an early sown crop. It is actually sown even before the monsoon arrives. And there was a delay in the arrival of the monsoon. Therefore, farmers were quite apprehensive. Look at jeera, for example. Last year, Gujarat, which is the largest producer of jeera or cumin, actually had unseasonal rains in October, November, which actually destroyed a part of the crop. Therefore, lower production. The third reason is actually export. The global demand for Indian spices is absolutely robust, whether it is cumin, turmeric, or coriander. I think our export numbers are looking fantastic. The very large export demand, as a result of which domestic prices have risen. For example, January to April, turmeric export is up 30% year on year to 65,700 tons.
Sure.
And in fact, that's a big number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Similarly.
No, sir, I get your point, but just to come back to the first couple of reasons that you mentioned, a part of it is also because of the unseasonal rains or the lack of rains, as you talked about. So would you say this is just a very, very temporary phenomenon, maybe next 10, 15 days, and it should stabilize there?
No, I'm afraid this will continue because farmers will still continue to remain apprehensive about planting spices on a very large scale. Already, last year, the coriander acreage was lower. And this year, given its huge volatility in prices, farmers may not be enthused to expand the acreage, particularly with the looming risk of El Nino, dry conditions, etc., etc. So my sense is 23-24, this year, spices production may not see a spike, whereas demand will continue to grow, both domestic consumption demand and export demand. In my view, prices will continue to remain fairly elevated. I'm not saying the current prices will continue for the next 6 to 8 months, but there may be corrections, obviously, but they will continue to remain elevated, in my view.
Okay, sir, on that note, we let you go. Appreciate you joining us and telling us what the ground reality is with respect to prices, the reason, and unfortunately, it looks like that some of that price rise is going to be sticky on account of the export demand surging and the overall metrics coming to play. But